Hello.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm barely hanging on.
Yeah, what's
How's
going on?
barely
There's
hanging on for you?
there's no facade. There's no we're doing all right. You're barely hanging
Uh,
on. What's the
barely hanging
deal?
on. No, just nothing crazy. Just I had insomnia last night, which is like I
Mm,
never have insomnia, but a month or two ago I had it, and last night I had it. So I'm just beat. Just beat. The one I've been sleeping great too. Great. I got the sleep pad thing going. It's tracking. It's giving me. I'm getting the 97s right. I'm like, oh, it's awesome, man. Then last
so
night I just
what
could
so what
not fall
happens?
asleep.
You just do you just stay in bed all night?
I so last night I did, yes. I just did the stay in bed all
Oh,
night roll around thing.
brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, brutal. It's
Brutal.
not you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to get out of bed, go do something. Because my wife has like bad insomnia. Not the
Mhm.
can't fall asleep kind, but the fall asleep and then wake up at like 3:30 and then just
Yep.
be awake kind. And so
Mhm.
yeah, you're supposed to get out of bed and whatever. Because obviously, once you've laid there for an hour, like you're not going to
No,
sleep
you're
anytime
toast.
soon. So, yeah, but I didn't. I just suffered through, and then at like whatever, I don't even know, 5 in the morning or something, fell asleep for an hour and a half or
Ugh,
whatever. Yeah,
miserable.
so rough. But I have all the good sleep leading up to this, so I'm like, all right, this is gonna get me
So you're
through.
banked.
Yeah, I banked some sleep. At first, I was like, oh, I don't know if I can record the pod. Then I took a shower. I was like, you know what? I got the bank sleep. I got a shower. I can
Big
do it. I can
turnaround, yeah.
perform.
I got the
Yeah.
message. I woke up to the message, can't do it. Sent you back. That's all right, big guy. Got hit with the let's do it. I took a shower.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to write you back too, and then you had just written me, and I was like, oh, I wanted to
Yep.
get it in before he saw it. But then, yep, I was like, took a
No,
shower, I'm ready. Let's get on the mics. Otherwise, also, I'm just gonna be miserable and tired anyway. I might as well be miserable and tired with you.
that's right. That's kind of the whole. That's the whole thing. That's what we're
that's
doing here. Come on,
that's
it's perfect.
perfect content. Yeah, exactly.
And you're no
So that
caffeine
was
guy, so you're just raw dogging life, man.
no the caffeine. Well, you used to give me the bad sleep, so can't go back to the caffeine. That's
Love the caffeine.
last resort. I actually purchased some caffeine based on
That
the recommendation.
that's not exactly how you're supposed to use it, but that's a good start. That's
Yeah,
step
it's a
one.
start. Caleb Porzio did a podcast about tea now months
Mm-hmm.
and months ago,
30-minute
and
podcast about
yes,
tea.
it was everything you could ever want to know about how to
And
properly drink
more.
tea.
Yeah. Caleb, I love your
And
shows, but when you talk about tea for 30 minutes or picking boogers, I usually skip those episodes, just
I actually
FYI.
did. I didn't skip it, but I had it queued up forever because it was like too intimidating. I was like 30 minutes on tea,
Yeah.
man, that's gonna be intense, you know. So I had
Yep.
to like wait for the right moment. It came. I listened. I was like, all right, I'll try some white tea. That's like the lower caffeine in theory,
Okay.
whatever. So I bought some from his supplier,
Oh,
but
he's
I
got
didn't
a
actually
guy.
drink it. I
I,
couldn't
I
pull the
didn't I didn't
trigger.
get that far into the episode. I didn't know he has a guy.
Yeah,
That's
he's got a
awesome.
guy. Of course, he's got a guy. Come
Of
on,
course he's got. You
he's
got
got
to
a
have a
guy.
guy.
Yeah, he's got a guy. Hey, and Caleb, if you're listening to this, which you're very busy, probably not, we need more episodes. He's way off on
I
the
know.
episodes. He's buried in that
I know.
calendar,
He's buried in the date
and
picker. We
he
lost him to the
can't.
date
We
picker.
lost him.
I
This
know.
is what's my fear. He's
I
gone.
know.
He's gone.
Speaking, this is a professional segue right here.
Yes.
Speaking of Caleb Porzio and Flux, Mr. Landsman, did
That's
you
me.
build something?
Built
You
something.
built something.
Woo.
All
Built
these
something.
episodes claiming you're going to build something and then claiming, no, I don't need to build anything. I just need to do my whatever, run my business or whatever. You built something with
Built
Flux.
something with Flux.
Tell me.
All right. So what I built was our sponsorship website.
Yes!
Yay!
We've already made more money than indie hackers make in 10 years.
There we go. We got some sales flowing in. So if you've been wanting to sponsor the show, let's start with that. If you've been wanting to sponsor the show, now's the time. Get in there, place an ad. We're going to have the new format where it's like your name and a tagline read, but you're going to get a whole month of that. The audience is going to get to hear your name, know what you do. I think it's going to be really cool. I think it's going to be better than long form ads. I think it's going to be more entertaining. It's going to be faster for the audience, but entertaining. And it's going to be useful for the companies. I think it's total win-win. We're on to something. That's my theory.
It is. So first about the sponsorships, then about you freaking just crushing this thing out. Okay, so sponsorships. It's going to be great. It's going to be this podcast is brought to you by name, then 15, 20-second tagline. That's it.
Right.
And we do that. When you buy a slot, you get the whole month. So between 3 to 5 episodes, best effort we'll do on every week. You get the whole month, and you just get exposed as the audience. You get exposed to these hopefully cool tools, a little bit of a tagline, and then you can go off and look at it yourself. But you're not sitting through a minute and a half about AG1 or something,
Yeah. Well, that AG1,
yeah.
Yeah, like let's just do it now, right? Like Laravel Cloud, the best way to ship and scale Laravel applications. We'll just throw that out there, for example.
Wow, they got a free read.
They got a free read.
We got to send an addendum, an adjunct invoice.
But that sort of thing. And the thing is, let's be honest. This is a techie audience. People are skipping the long ads, right?
Yep,
They know how to do the 30-second skip. So if it's just nice, clean inside the episode, everybody's going to hear it. Everybody's going to like it. Sponsors get value. Listeners get value. We get value.
We get value. We get value that we can turn into more of those, whatever those really expensive kids chips are. That's where all the value goes. You give us money.
Banana chips?
I turn it into those bear chips and my kids eat them. So that's the value exchange we're talking about.
It gets us up. It gets us in. When we haven't slept all night, it gets us on the mics.
Right.
That's the value to the listeners.
So it's working. We've already got, I think, 5 slots sold, which is very exciting. Isn't that right?
Yeah,
we got
one of them 10, because the one is just this. We have somebody who's going to sponsor quite a few months, and we have to still do a little. We're helping them with a part of it, but yes. So
there you go.
Quite a few steps. Quite a few listings already. So, and I think for next month, for the first month, which will be February. There's 2 right now for February, so you can still get. There'll be 3, I think. Yeah, I think that guy's doing February. But yeah, still some slots. Get in there.
This is very exciting.
Advertise. It is. It's going to be so cool.
I am so happy to see this come to fruition. And Ian, this was all your idea.
What? Am I getting full credit?
You're getting full credit. I think you had the idea of doing I don't remember what you called it, but it was like the zinger
the AM radio.
AM radio. That's what it was.
Yeah. All these years I've listened to Mike and the Mad Dog. when I was building HelpSpot, I listened to Mike and the Mad Dog every day, 1 p.m. And they don't, they had full ads too, it's like a radio station, obviously, but like they also had these little hits. And ESPN ad network or AM radio guys, I think also did the same thing. I think it's like
Old Man thing. River coming through with the AM radio references.
Let me tell you, there's a whole world where just knowing about old things and reintroducing them as if they were new is awesome business ideas. So
you're not wrong.
Definitely a thing. Also, the cross culture. I like when people are like, "Oh, I saw this thing in Japan, and then I just brought it back here." And now it's a business. It used to be a bigger thing back in the day before. Obviously, now we kind of know what globalism ruined it a little bit, but still a thing.
Where this still works? This still works if you are a Rubyist or even a JavaScript fellow, and you see something in the Laravel ecosystem, just copy it. Just copy it and take it to your ecosystem. Taylor's proven that whatever it is works. Just copy it.
Yep. Yeah, you see this. I mean, Taylor copied things. He's, talked about that many times, or, at least inspired a lot of things from other ecosystems, especially early on. So yeah, in open source, definitely see this quite a bit. And the smart projects who aren't trying to reinvent the wheel, just get in there, see what works, put your spin on it. But yeah, so that's what I built. So now that's available.
I wandered over to Blue Sky for the first time in a couple of days, and I saw I was tagged in something from Ian saying you can do sponsors now. So what? Did you get a wild hair? What happened? Where did this come from?
So we were gonna have a consultancy build this, and they went off and started building it. They got busy, they got sidetracked, whatever. Didn't happen. So it's been a couple months, and I was like, I've been wanting to build something with Flux. I know I could build this in one day. Let me just come in whenever this was, last Tuesday or something like that. And I was like, I'm just going to build this. So I just came in, sat down, did the Laravel News. Nothing better than Laravel News. And I just love the idea. What clicked for me too is like, one day. Like I always get caught up in like a side
Yep,
thing. I
I
turn
know.
into a whole business,
Yep.
and it's this support and all this stuff, right? And then I'm like, forget it. One day, I know for sure I can ship the basic version of this in one day. And so, yeah, so that was it. So I was like, it'd be cool. I'll ship something actually in Flux, even though we started to work with it in HelpSpot a bit, but whatever, that's not going to ship for a long time. I'm not even doing most of that work, so it's not really me playing with it. So I was like, I can just get in, do this. Did a little chat GPT helper, sent that off. I'm trying the pro version, which you had talked about in a previous episode.
We need to do an AI segment. Keep going.
Yeah, we could do that, but it's very nice. I definitely like the O one a lot, even better for this kind of thing, because it's just like you can give it nice instructions like you would give a human, and it goes off and builds stuff, and then it comes back with a bunch of files, and it's like great. So I let it do that as like the starting point, and it didn't get it perfect, obviously, but like it was fine. It was like I didn't have to build those files, and now I have the core. Then I started wiring it all up. Obviously, the longest part is making anything work with Stripe, which is a whole disaster. So
it's
like
crazy.
That was like half the time was not like the Laravel app. It was just, can I get this thing to actually connect to Stripe and
half
use
the
a
time
product?
is like, what screen do I go to in Stripe?
That's literally, yes, was 75% of the 50% was how do I even find the place in here that I need to set up the couple things.
Do I need a product or a variant? What is a variant?
There's a product, there's a price, there's a thing called a price, which is separate from a product. It's so bizarre and insane. And then like I can't even believe how people love this interface. It's like it's horrible. Like it looks fine, right? But the actual usability is terrible.
The usability is awful. Yes.
Just basic stuff. Like you want to go in there and add a team member. It's not even obvious where to do stuff like that. It's like, it's under business, and then you gotta click in there. It's like, why is it? There's like 5 things everybody does.
Yep.
Just put those 5 things big in the front, and then have other settings with all the other bullshit that you expect to dig for if you want the weird setting. Great. I'll spend 5 minutes digging for that. But like adding a team member, adding your products, like, these are things that seem like they should just work, but they don't work.
They don't.
So yeah, so that was a huge part of the mission, was like, can I collect the money reasonably well and whatever, send it back and save in a database. My first SQLite, this is my first Flux app, my first SQLite app, which was cool. I didn't even notice it. I mean, it's just on the disk. I don't know.
No, like, where's the website hosted?
Oh, it's on like just a random Linode server.
Oh, nice. So is this, I guess, mostlytechnical.com is hosted by Transistor.
Right.
And so you got just a new random server, probably through Forge, and put sponsors.mostlytechnical on there.
Yes, I don't have a Laravel Cloud account, so I can't put it on Laravel Cloud yet.
Oh, man, that's too bad. You should get one. It's awesome.
I know. Yeah, exactly. So for now, it's on Linode. Linode is where I have all of our just like random servers, and I tend to just do any websites we have, just get their own server. I just get like a 1 gigabyte RAM little server and just put it on there and pay the $5 or whatever.
Yep.
So did that, turned on backups so that the SQLite database will live forever in the backups should anything go wrong with the server. Which is really cool, like the little advantage of SQLite there. Just a file sitting there and just back it up, and presumably I don't think there's any corruption possible aside from like obviously simultaneous whatever, which we're not going to have any problems with.
Yeah, you should still be good.
Yeah, that all worked really smooth. It is a little weird how like feeling like accessing and looking in the database is weird, but I think
it's a little weird, isn't it?
Does it? Yeah, but I think it's kind of weird how you do it. I haven't even bothered to set it up. So I do a testing in there. I want to delete, which is just sitting there, but
yeah,
no, it was great. It was like so much fun, especially to just ship an app in a day. I don't think I've ever shipped an app in a day, so that was my first app in a day. A lot of firsts on this one. It's really good.
So Livewire, so Laravel, Livewire, Flux, Linode, Stripe,
SQLite, Laravel,
Cloudflare,
Tailwind, Cloudflare.
Cloudflare that runs the DNS, of course.
Yep.
Talking your own bag.
I don't have it. I turned off the
protections
Cloudflare
and
magic.
stuff. Yeah,
it's just like just doing DNS. So I was like, it doesn't need caching. It's gonna be like 10 people on this site. Like, it's fun.
Well, this is very impressive. Good for you.
Built us a little page with the upcoming ads, so we can see what's coming up and have it all laid out there, so we can do the reads nice and fast and see what's going on.
If y'all want to see this, go to sponsor.mostlytechnical.com.
Yep. And it's linked on mostlytechnical.com, top nav, which is the transistor site. So
Oh, smart.
yeah, so we're out there. It's all good. The other thing you get with the sponsors, we forgot to mention in the sponsor segment, is that you also get the links in the show notes. So that'll be in there, which I think is actually pretty useful on multiple fronts. So you get the link, you get the ad read, and you sponsor the show and help out the show, which is we appreciate greatly. But yeah, it was fun to build something that kicked me off on like, ooh, what else can I build in a day? Like now I'm like, I should invent other things to ship in a day.
He's back.
Now every idea has to be like, can I ship it in one day? Which is a very like useful criteria, I think, for like somebody who doesn't want to get bagged, caught up in a side project that's going to actually take a lot of time and energy. It's like, oh, if I could do one day, I could take a day and do anything. That's fine. So we'll see.
Yeah, even if for everyone, that's probably useful criteria. I know it would be for me. Like, what can I get done today versus like laying the foundations of a cathedral that will take 100 years to build, which is what I typically do. And it's like, I should do a project. Well, let's spend forever making it perfect. Yeah.
And you can do so much now because like you get so much out of the box. It's like between Laravel and Tailwind and Flux, if you're doing Livewire, or even if you're in React, you have all those ShadCN and whatever, and like you just have so much given to you that you have the shell of the app, you have Jetstream and blah blah blah. So you can really get going pretty far on day one, and obviously within reason. But you have ChatGPT to chunk out some big annoying parts for you and all that kind of stuff, boilerplate stuff. So yeah, it was useful. It was interesting to do that. So
let's talk AI. Let's talk AI.
Okay.
How are you using, or I can go first if you want, using AI, and what are your like existential thoughts on it? Because I have many.
Man, the existential thoughts is harder, but I guess my day in day out use is like, I mean, I think it's like, I know there are people who are like super dead set against it. Like I always see Ken Wheeler, he's like, this is the devil, it's coming for your jobs and like whatever, all that stuff. But for me, I'm like, I use it for boilerplate coding stuff. Especially the O1 is quite nice for like, I think that's a big difference to me in using the O1, because it's like, I like that I can just tell it something like I would tell a human and actually get reasonable results. Which you could do with the other ones, but it's like you have to do the step through the process. Like, okay, I give it one prompt, I give it another prompt, I give it another prompt, and you have to like copy paste things or whatever you're doing, or talk to it in the chat. But it's still like you doing that. Let it do the reasoning. Good. So that's good. So yeah, coding, tests, some writing stuff. I think the writing stuff is still, it's like you got to dial it in a little bit. I don't know if I can. Yeah. It's good for up to a certain point in writing, but then I feel like you do have to like.
It's still a little sterile.
Yeah, there's something a little bit off with it. So I can't use it like, oh, just write this whole page. And like, I don't feel like it does a perfect job with that yet. Although I haven't played too much with like the GPTs you can build and stuff, where you can load up maybe some examples or do some more stuff with that to more thoroughly train it, so to speak, which I probably should do. But yeah, I mean, and then like, obviously like your around the house, home use kind of stuff, medical issue kind of stuff. Who doesn't love Googling their medical issues? Now you can ask ChatGPT. So that's actually been more useful certainly than Googling anyway for me. I'd say that's kind of like the main thing. I haven't gone too far into the like, let me use it to talk through an idea, and strategize just back and forth with it and things like that. I've kept it more sort of meat and potatoes. I have a task, it does the task, I move on to the next thing. So I don't know, let's do existential next, but how do you use it day in, day out?
Yeah, so that's the way that I use it day in and day out. Is I have a task, let me come to the dedicated window for the tool, like ChatGPT, Claude, whatever, and give it the task, and then I will be in charge of like putting it back into whatever I'm doing. So I use Claude, I use ChatGPT's O1 Pro, that whole family of tools. And I occasionally, but not often, will use Gemini Deep Research. And so the way that I like to use it, I also use the only thing I allow in my editor right now, and I've tried a bunch, but the only thing that has stuck that I'm comfortable with is JetBrains' machine learning autocomplete. So I don't even know if they bill this as AI. I think they bill this as like, hey, this is gonna guess what you're gonna type next, which is kind of AI's thing too. But regardless, it's not like, hey, I'm going to write out a whole algorithm. It's I'm going to be smarter about my autocompletes. In my editor, I have tried GitHub Copilot. I've tried, I think JetBrains has a proper AI. I've tried SourceGraph's Cody, and they all just end up after a while becoming too frustrating. It's like, no, that's not what I wanted. Get out of my way, like, because then you know you're typing something and you try to hit tab for autocomplete and it autocompletes the whole algorithm and you're like, no, it was wrong. I just wanted, and so there's some of that that's like, I don't want it popping up all the time in my face, and I also don't want it like basically like poisoning the well. I don't want it to tell me what it thinks I should do next, because then I'm like, I was going to do something else. Maybe I should do that. So I've ripped all that out of my editor. But what I do is I'll take, you know, especially with O1 Pro, I'll take like a big gnarly problem, and I'll spend 3 to 4 to 5 minutes like writing something up, and then I let it go. And it takes, with the O1 Pro, it can take like 5 minutes to come back with an answer. But when it does, it's like I just had a mid-level to senior developer go off and write down what they think their best implementation is, and then come back with examples. It's like, oh wow, that's really useful. And then I'll take for other stuff, I'll take certain files over to Claude and say like, hey, here's the implementation, here's the test that's failing, I need you to fix this implementation. And right now I'm doing a lot of kind of like rote programming, but it's also quite technical because it is it's like dealing with abstract syntax trees. Like I'm taking PHP, running it through like a transpiler, like rewriting it and spitting stuff out on the other side, of course, obviously.
Sure, obviously.
And
normal stuff.
There's a lot
Standard
of like,
CRUD app.
Yes, exactly. There's a lot of like walking the syntax tree recursively until you find this, and then walk your way back out.
The worst to write.
And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, this is not very valuable. It needs to be done. It is extremely testable because I can say this is the before, this is the after. Get there, and it's been great. And so I've had it probably write. I've had Claude probably write 10 to 12 of these like transformer classes that just take in a piece of code and spit out a piece of code, and it saved me days and days of work. It's incredible.
You had a tweet or something where you were like, you feel like you were like been 4x productivity or something like that along those lines.
Yeah, because it's like I can do something now in 5 minutes that would have taken me an hour easily. Easily would have taken me an hour. And I'm doing those things multiple times a day. And you add that up and you're like, oh crap, I just did like 40 hours of work today. That's crazy. And so I'm totally sold on it. I am 0% sold on, I don't know if you saw Chris Sacca talking about like programming is dead, we're all screwed, it's over. I can just ask this thing to make me an app and it works. I haven't coded since basic, and so I can, and I was even right there, I was like, so you're not really in the game, so you don't really know. And so I still have yet to see like if these people are like, I can just say, you know, Siri, make me an app, where are all the apps? Like, where are these new inventive things? So I'm not sold on the fact that you can just give it free reign, but I think it would be a little bit foolish to think this is not going to change the way we work.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so like I think well in my editor I was playing with like Cursor, but I hate VS Code, and all the best ones is VS Code, and I hate VS Code. So like I was holding out. I was like, well, when the Laravel thing plugin extension thing comes, that'll make it better, but it's just not as good as PHP Storm, especially with the Laravel idea plugin and stuff. So I was like, I need PHP Storm. So back in PHP Storm, I was using Copilot since it like came out, which I think it's gotten worse somehow. Like it was better And then now I feel like Copilot tries to do more, kind of like what you're saying. It's, like, it's doing too much when I just want it for the code complete to be a little tighter generally in the like inline code complete. So right now I'm trying this Codium. They have this other thing called Windsurfer, which is a VS Code fork.
Yeah, that's the
but
one
they
I've heard
also
of.
have just a plugin that was the first thing, which is more like Copilot, just their take. I haven't actually had a chance to actually even use it yet. I just installed it the other day. Some of the other people here are using it. So I'm going to try that. But yeah, for my purposes, the inline, I do like having the inline. I don't think I'll get rid of it, but the heavy lifting is outside of the editor, I'd say, for the most part. And then the thing that, so I was going back and forth between, first of all, I'm paying for 8 million AI things, which is, there's a reckoning coming here.
It's the new streaming apps.
Yeah,
I'm paying for all of them.
Yeah, that's not going to happen forever. I think by next year or the year after, that'll be done, and they'll just be like Microsoft and Apple will just be built in, or something close enough to that, or OpenAI will just be big enough. But like, I'm not paying for all these AI things.
I'm not paying for all these things.
But whatever. Right now, I'm paying for several different AI things. The thing that got me actually off of Claude, I kind of bounced between OpenAI and Claude, is the OpenAI Mac app is actually super, super good.
It's great.
And so I've been using that.
Yep.
And that's kind of kept me more in the OpenAI land. And then also the O1 has also then kind of kept me more in that. Which I don't know if you saw the DeepSeek thing. I mean, turn this into AI podcast, but like that seems incredible, and there's a lot of stuff going on there. So yeah, this AI stuff, there's like literally zero sort of lock-in mode.
Oh, no freaking way.
Just like
no way.
Every random company's gonna have the next best AI thing, and then it's just gonna be included with, I mean, like we're very close to, I think, it just being included in your OS, within a year or two.
Especially with DeepSeek being free and open source.
Right.
I mean, that the prices are just being driven to zero.
Yeah. It is like a Chinese thing, which is a little weird because you're like banning TikTok, but then here's
Chinese
use
the super intelligence from the same place.
Yeah, so I don't know, that's all weird, but that stuff aside, it's just going to be them all leapfrogging each other, right? Like constantly, whatever, next one, and we all benefit, and that's great.
We do.
Yeah, I think I don't really get the whole. I still feel like ultimately, like it's just going to be a tool. I think I'm a little more on the side of like, I do think you'll be able to tell it to build you an app in the sense of like, I mean, every CRUD app you've ever built is like 95% the same thing, And so like, if you're building some back office thing and just like, hey, build me a new customer contact manager that sucks in emails from here and puts them over here. Like, I think you'll probably be able to do that at some point. Not yet. I don't think you can do it, but I think it'll be possible. That's different though than like a consumer product. I still think in the consumer product, you're going to have there's just a lot of other factors in there, and you're still going to need the humans kind of figuring out what's up. I still think, you need the human developers. I think to big picture right now, you definitely need the human developers. And I think for a long time, you're going to still need the human developers. Maybe not forever, but I think I'll be retired before you don't need a human for the most part, or where you can replace a large percentage of the humans. I do think that's probably coming because like a lot of the stuff is sort of, does the code work? I mean, this is my style of coding. Like, does the code work or not? Like, we don't really care if the code's beautiful. Like, does the code work? It's testable, blah, blah, blah. And, there's no style points because the code is all behind the scenes. So the humans give it style points. That
breaks my heart.
Right?
I know. Like, I love
but
style
the AI,
points.
Like what you just said, right? Like you gave it some input, what the output's supposed to be. Does it give you the right output? And it does or doesn't, right? So, but whatever. There's complicated systems, all that stuff. I don't know. I mean, it depends what you hook it up to. I mean, right now, the thing about the existential stuff I don't totally get is like right now, I can hook up a computer to a nuclear weapon. I mean, I'm sure there's tons of computers hooked up to nuclear weapons already, right?
Where's this going?
Like, I'm saying, like in terms of existential threats, like those already exist. Computers are already in the loop. If the humans decide to say, hey, we're going to let the AI decide when to shoot a nuclear weapon, it's probably a bad idea. I probably wouldn't do that. But we are in control of that. So hopefully people won't do those kind of things. But
that I know nothing about. I'm more worried about my livelihood, like my job.
I thought you meant the big existential.
No,
you just mean your job. Okay.
No, the big existential, we're all toast. It's gonna, we're done. But until then, I'd like to have a job or at least a
Right.
way to make money.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just don't you think it just moves to the next phase where, like, I don't know, in the past, the new technology's always made more jobs, like
It
100% of
has,
the time.
yes.
So it's just like, yes, are they going to be exactly the same jobs? No. So you might need different types of jobs, but I still think that it will be additive and it'll free people up from writing. Who the frick? I know there's weirdos out there, and you're probably listening to this, some of you who like to write like recursive loops, and that's your fun thing to do, but it's not fun. Nobody likes doing it. There's tons of bugs in there, there's tons of
Kind of fun.
mistakes. It's hard. And
Kind of awesome.
it's kind of awesome, but you just had ChatGPT do it all for you, right? Because it's
Some of it,
it's
yeah,
much better. Yeah, because it's going to be better at it. Because that's not a thing that a human's necessarily brain is that good at. The computer's going to be much better at it, and just let the computer do it. So
I just need to. I think in the next 2 to 5 years, I do think this industry is going to be completely different, and I need to make sure that I come out on top. That's what I'm after.
that's what I like where we're going with this.
That is what I'm after. That's all that I'm after.
Greed is good, baby. Greed is good. It's all on Wall Street. We got to get you to watch that.
I see the wave is coming.
Yeah.
The wave is here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be I don't know what a good analogy is, hanging on to Laserdisc when DVD's on the way, right? I want to see it coming, prepare myself, and then adapt to it such that I come out on top. That's what I need to do. That's what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to figure out, how do I use these tools so that I am more powerful and I'm not like one of the ones that is eliminated because someone else is more powerful.
You don't want to get laid off again?
No, I don't want to get laid off again. And so I'm trying to figure out, how do I use these tools to level up? And then what is, like, if the economy is fundamentally going to change, which I don't know, I kind of think it will, at least in our little niche, I think it will. What do I do? Like, what's coming next? Where's the next value? And how do I get ahead of that, you know?
Yeah. Well, but in a sense, you've already made that switch, but you just think of yourself as old you, but you're new you. Like, old you is a software developer at a company.
Yeah.
New you is a content creator. So, like,
you're not wrong.
Yeah. So I think, and will people have more time for entertainment? Possibly. Will people need more information about the new types of jobs or the new expectations? Like, maybe, if you're a software developer at a company, in 5 years, you have a team of AI developers if you're in some kind of big board company and you're cranking out widgets, right? Like, so you have different skill set needs, which maybe you aren't totally prepared for, which might be an opportunity. Like, you have those kind of opportunities. You're already there on the other side.
You might be right.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know what the opposite of hoisted by my own petard is, but that sounds like this. I was buoyed by my own petard.
One less thing to stress about.
That's great. I love not stressing.
I do think for people who haven't converted to the content economy yet, I always think you could start today on doing the things that make a human in the middle of the process useful, which these are the type of people I've always hired, because we're small and I don't want somebody who literally can only code and has no useful skills beyond that. And so now you just need to think of yourself more like that. Like, can you get into the project management side of things? Can you get into the management side of things? Can you get into the product development side of things in terms of like feature decisions and things like that? Like, can you get into support? All these things that, like, on some level, like, AI will do some of it, but they'll still be humans, in the reasonable future. And you need to be aware of that, because now you can be the person who's technical, but also does product stuff in some capacity. That's super useful. Versus the person who only wants to work on this couple classes that they're responsible for in the big app. And
yeah, I think pure programming, I think the middle is going to get eaten out pretty, like, it's just going to be totally gone. So what's going to remain is seniors that are orchestrating some sort of like AI or whatever, and the seniors are responsible for like code quality and architecture and all of that, but everything else is just going to get totally carved away. And so I think being a pure programmer that is not already one of these 10x people, I think that
Right.
that's going to be toast. So yeah, I think cross skills are going to be pretty important.
I do think there could be this in between phase, depending on how long things take and how sophisticated tools get and stuff. Like, I think there's a lot of, for example, like people who outsource
Mm-hmm.
overseas or things like that. Like, there's various challenges with that, of like communication challenges, time zone challenges, all this stuff. And if that's like a middle road developer overseas with all these challenges, like maybe now that's just replaced by an AI, either some like AI agent, or there's just like your team is faster now, right? Like every developer is twice as fast
Yes.
because they have these tools. So we don't even need those outsourced developers anymore. So like there's some of that kind of stuff too that I think will come in potentially a bit. But then again, the world needs more software. Like there's not going to be less software. There's going
I
to be
agree.
more electronic things. There's going to be more software in those things. So you're like, so is it one of those things too, where like the technology is rising to meet the demand that is actually not possible to be met by humans alone anymore? That we are restrained by the human capacity of just quantity of programmers, and we need more, and with different
Yes.
skill sets, right? Because like, yeah, we don't need a million React developers, right? Which is what the things are churning out. But maybe we need a bunch of embedded systems developers, which are not so
Mm-hmm.
much fun, right, to go learn, because you don't want to learn assembly or C or whatever. But that's what the world needs, and
Yep.
so
Yep.
now you can have a bunch of those.
That whole squishy metal is going to be gone,
Yeah,
I think.
it could be. So you got to figure out how to differentiate yourself, just like ever, just like always.
Just like
It's always
always.
been kind of true, but there could be a little more. Could be a little more pressure there.
Yep. I think so. Brave New
Interesting.
World.
Yeah. Like, is this like when they invented the printing press? You think it was like this?
I do kind of feel like it is when they invented maybe the internet or something like that. I mean, I missed that one by a little bit. But I really do, like, I didn't feel this way about crypto at all. I was like,
No,
guys,
yeah.
this is stupid. This is not the next iteration of the web. This is
Yeah.
not Web 3.
Right.
I do feel like AI is. I feel like
Yeah.
it is the next iteration. It's the next like great leap from, no internet to internet. I feel like this is the same.
Yeah, like 20 years from now, there'll be some form of AI thing in everything. Even if it's just
Yes.
doing a very simple one, it's in your refrigerator, right?
Yep.
And it's like doing some simple thing, checking temperature, whatever it's doing, right? But it's got some task it does, and that's fine. And so obviously it'll be in everybody's phone and all that stuff.
20 years from now, I will have a humanoid robot in my house doing stuff.
Or you'll have a man dressed up like a humanoid robot walking around your house.
That would be worse.
You think? I guess we probably will. Maybe. I don't know. I'm sort of dubious on the usefulness of that. Maybe it's useful.
Are you kidding?
I mean, it's useful. Of course.
We will. It is incredibly useful. Imagine never doing dishes again, never doing laundry again, never fixing a faucet. Like, hey, can you go under the house and look? I heard a noise. Go down and see if there's a raccoon down there. Like, yeah, do it at 2 a.m. Like, go out in the garage and start fixing stuff all night because you don't need sleep. Yes, it's totally going to be useful.
What do you think about but I guess I'm not saying that I don't want a robot. I'm saying, is a humanoid robot the ideal form factor?
For the house, yes.
You think so?
For the home, it is.
Not
for industry, nah.
Yeah, for industries, it's different. They already have robots that do.
I think the only thing that could be better than humanoid for the home is wheeled, but still with arms. I don't think it needs to walk.
Right.
But having hands that are shaped like mine to manipulate all of the things in the house that are prepared for human hands, I think is pretty important. Like, it doesn't need. I feel like walking is kind of hard. I'm good at it, but I feel like walking is kind of hard, and so maybe they put wheels on it. I don't know. I don't care. But they're all doing walkers, so it's like maybe they've already cracked it.
I guess, but then we've been seeing those videos for a very long time, and we haven't seen very much shipping products that the dogs are sort of in use by some police departments and stuff, but it doesn't seem like they're everywhere. I don't know.
I think Figure has deployed humanoids in a BMW factory, and it's actually they're actually doing tasks. I think they're
doing
pretty right down the middle. You know, it's a controlled environment. It's a assembly line, but the humanoids are in there picking up panels and taking them over to be bolted on. I don't know how you make a car. What do I know about cars? But I think they're doing something like that. So, and I think it's Figure. You know, there are several of these that are building humanoids.
Yeah, I haven't heard
I
of
think
that
Brett
one, actually,
Adcock is Figures.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think it's coming.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, the vision stuff. It's like Tesla's been recording everybody's car drives for 15 years now, or whatever, right? And we still don't really have the autopilot dialed in. So I just don't know if it's quite that simple. I guess.
I don't think it's simple at all.
No.
But
I just wonder. You know, a house has all different stuff. Everybody's house has different stuff. You have to figure out to really truly understand it. That doesn't take like your kid's neck and ring it because I think it's a jar it's opening, right? Like there's a lot of stuff in there that has to be very precise with. So
I think the difference between jars and humans is probably figured out at this point. Probably. But yes, point taken. But I do think the rate at which all of this is accelerating, the rate itself is accelerating. So the math nerds can tell me if that's a first or second derivative. I can't say for sure. But I think the rate of increase is increasing. And so the last, you know, for Tesla, maybe the first 10 years, they didn't get any better on the self-driving. And in the last, 6 months, they might have done more than they've done in the previous 10 years. And so I think all of this stuff is getting better faster, including I've seen some of these, humanoid demonstrations. And if we're to believe that, like, these humanoid demonstrations are real, they're getting better fast.
If they're real. Yeah.
If they're real. I think the Tesla ones, like the Tesla bartenders, were teleoperated, but I think all the Figure stuff has been real, like no fly-by-wire or anything like that.
Boston Dynamics, they're always like jumping and
doing backflips. Or whatever. I don't know what Boston Dynamics' end goal is, but they're always like, watch this robot do a flip. Do you sell these?
Military,
like, what's the point?
what's
going on here?
Like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, but the other thing is like, so the big thing, like Stratechery had a newsletter, which you should subscribe to Stratechery, but which is Ben Thompson's newsletter, famous newsletter, tech newsletter. Anyway, it's like the AI is training the AI, right? So once you have the like AI training the AI, in theory, it can move much faster. Like whether that's actually true is yet to be proven, but like it sounds reasonable. And I think the DeepSeek people claim to have done some aspects of that sort of thing, which is how they've gotten things cheaper and faster and smaller and whatever. So yeah, I do wonder though if like are the LMs where we see all this action, like is it applicable to vision stuff? I don't know. It's like OpenAI has vision stuff, so there is some aspect there, but it's not totally clear to me on if it's as good as the text-based or not. Like it seems to do okay the few times I've given it something visual, but I don't know. Again, that's a huge difference from a 3D space where you're walking around trying not to kill humans and cats and things and whatever. But I would like haven't you seen iRobot though? Are you worried about the iRobot? What about your existential robot dread? No? Nothing?
No, I don't worry about the iRobot.
You're okay?
Yeah.
Have you seen iRobot?
Of course I've seen iRobot. With Will Smith?
Will Smith, baby.
Great
Love
movie.
Will Smith. All right.
Classic cinema. Of course I've seen that.
I thought you've seen that. Okay.
That's right up my alley.
It is right up your alley. So yes.
I've also seen Frank and Robot and Frank.
I have not seen that. I don't know. Oh man. I never even heard of that.
There's a specific genre of media that I love, and it's robots learning how to love. And so Robot and
what's
Frank.
That one? Okay. There's
2020 or 2012
or whatever.
Oh yeah, Chappie maybe.
No, it's like called. It's like Brad Bird or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
it made me cry.
I don't know.
It's a cry one because they learned to love.
I should watch that. I love that. It is 2012 with Frank Langella. Do you know who that is?
No.
Super old guy. Yeah. Okay. What's he known for? What's he most known for? Oh, Frost and Nixon. Did you see that movie in 2008?
No, I didn't. I didn't see.
Oh, it's kind of a good
Oh,
movie.
this guy. Yeah, I know this guy. This guy's
You know
great.
this guy. Everybody knows this
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
He's been around.
He's still
So
alive.
this guy,
He's
this old
going.
guy gets a robot helper, and they go on hijinks together, and he learns to love. It's so good. So that's what it's going to be like.
How have I not seen any of this guy's movies? But I clearly know who this guy is.
Everybody knows
And he's a
who
famous
this
guy.
guy is. Very famous guy.
Yeah, Robot and Frank. Are you? What about? He's in Wall Street. Your version of Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps.
There you go.
Which I have
Money
not
Never
seen.
Sleeps, the good version with Shia LaBeouf.
Are you excited about the new Superman?
No,
James
this
Gunn?
is the first time hearing that there is a new Superman. So my response must be no, because I have a null reaction to it.
Go watch the trailer. The guy who did,
there's a new Superman. Are we just doing the same movies over and over forever until the heat death of the universe?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh no, not really. I watched part of one on a plane and was like, "This is corny,
dude.
It's so corny."
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Why are we doing? We just did Superman.
No, we did them terribly. All those are unwatchable. All the ones of the past 15 years, unwatchable.
What are we doing? It's got to be time for another Spider-Man. We haven't had one in 6 months.
Listen,
let's start a new franchise. Let's start a brand new franchise of Spider-Man again.
James Gunn's Superman is going to be right up your alley. Right up your alley, I'm telling you.
I don't know who James Gunn is.
Oh, he's the best. He's the best.
Who is Superman? I don't even know who Superman is.
Clark
Who
Kent?
is this? No. I know the character. Who's playing Superman in this movie? I don't recognize this guy.
I think he's like a up and coming kind of guy. He's been in some stuff, but I don't know him either. But that's
why
good.
Why do I want another Superman?
Oh, no,
We've done Superman.
I love Superman.
Do we?
The original Superman and Superman 2 are like the best superhero movies still. All these other superheroes that have been made, those two are the best.
Have we not had a new idea in the past 50 years?
Listen to me. Kneel before Zod, okay? Kneel before Zod.
This means nothing to me. We haven't had a new idea, but I don't know what that means.
There's people out there right now yelling at their speaker. They're so excited.
They always do. They think I watch movies.
Zod. Do you
understand?
I just walk around my house.
Fast and Furious and Interstellar. That's all I watch.
No, I don't mean about that. They're just yelling that I said Kneel Before Zod. They're very excited about Kneel Before Zod because they have an emotional attachment to it like I do. I walk around my house. I say it to my kids all the time. They don't even know what it means.
Do they have no idea.
They watched the movie when they were little. Nobody was willing to rewatch it with me.
Correct.
So they're like, yeah, Dad. Kneel Before Zod. Whatever.
Sure, big guy. Can I have $20?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so serious about just remaking movies over and over and over. Why are we doing this?
Because that's the only movies that people go to the movie theater to see is superhero movies. Nobody will go for a normal movie. They just won't go. I will have to say, it's sort of insane now. I thought when we redid our basement a few years back, not like it was already finished, but like we made like a TV, PlayStation kind of room. And I got like a 65-inch flat screen TV. And I was like, this thing is insane. It's huge. And I was in Best Buy a couple weeks ago. And there's just
costs a nickel now.
First of all that. But also there's a 100-inch television.
Oh my
that's
word.
Just sitting there. It's a box on a pallet. It's got its own pallet. Because I don't know how you get this thing home. How do you pick this thing up? I mean, it's way bigger than a truck bed. I guess I don't know why it's in the store because they must have to deliver it on a big, commercial truck. 100-inch television. And I was just like, this is normal people.
This is too far. This is too far.
Everybody telling me the price of eggs and whatever.
I know.
People out there buying 100-inch television.
There's two Americas.
Apartment. For their apartment. They're like, hey,
man,
I got room. I got a 13-foot wall. I got to put a 100-inch television on it. It's crazy.
I drive into the apartment. I work in an apartment. I drive into the apartment and I see in the parking garage, I see cars that cost $100,000. And I'm driving in my 2016 4Runner and I'm like, what the hell am I doing wrong? Yeah. These guys are having $100,000 Mercedes SUVs sitting in the parking garage at the apartment. Yeah. I don't understand the economy. That's what it comes down to.
It's crazy.
I
have that same experience when I go to my parents, they moved out of the house. They moved into a nice condo complex kind of thing. And it's like, it's like old people and young people mostly with some middle ground. And it's like, every car is new. 100% of cars are new.
Every car is new.
And, and 50% of them are, over $70,000 or whatever. It's like a big F-150.
These new trucks,
right? Yeah.
they're $80,000 for a truck.
Every single one.
What are
And
we
I'm
doing?
Like, what is going on? This whole thing is all
What
crazy.
is going on?
Anyway, I don't have a 100-inch TV yet. I haven't reached that level. Someday. I'm
No,
trying to get to 100-inch TV level, but not yet.
man,
Not there yet.
yeah. Anyway, we gotta make new movies. The movies, I'm tired. Except Fast and Furious, you can make those over and over again.
See,
That's
you're
fine.
just part of the problem. You want
No,
the
I'm part of the
bad?
solution. Those are good movies, but come on, no more Superman,
Argueless
no more
movies.
Spider-Man.
Nobody
No.
will watch movies. You can't get people to watch them. They won't even watch them at home, much less go to the movie theater. So I don't know. Where movies are dying, man. There's like
Movies are dying.
It's sad. They're gone. They're gonna be gone in 20 years. They're gonna have AI robots in your house, but you're not gonna have any movies.
When we're just gonna sit there, what are we gonna do?
You're not gonna have
Not
TV shows either.
gonna talk to each other. Can you
I
imagine?
know. Nobody watches TV. Nobody watches movies.
Hmm.
People watch YouTube. I guess YouTube.
They watch YouTube. They watch TikTok. Yeah. Sad state.
I was just yelling at my middle kid the other day about this. I was like, you guys have no shared culture. There's zero shared culture
I know.
in like that generation. They can't talk about anything because they don't have any language to talk about Seinfeld or anything. I saw this comedian. It came up because I was explaining to him Silent Live, which he had never heard of and didn't know what it was. And like there's no shared culture. It's crazy. It seems very bad.
It does seem very bad. That is
Bringing back
one
the shared culture.
That is one downside of many of the super smart algorithm is that nobody's watching the same thing.
Nobody.
Man, when I was coming up, it was just E-Bombs World, and we all watched the videos on E-Bombs World.
I don't even know what that is.
I am tired, fires the missiles. Like we would walk around the halls saying all the same 10 lines because it was like we all watched this video.
So important.
We all just watched Homestar Runner, the new release on whatever they came out Tuesday afternoons or whatever. Right. And we'd come to school the next day and we'd be talking about the new Homestar video. Yep. And it was like, that was fun. But yeah, now they're all watching individualized. The kids. Yeah, kids. I feel like Ian screaming at the clouds.
You're an old man now. You're
I'm old man.
Forget it. It's all the same. Once you're mid-30s, it's all the same. You can be 70, you can be 35. It doesn't matter.
It's all the same. It's all the same. I'm going to Amsterdam.
That's right. That is this week, right?
I leave on Saturday or Sunday. I don't really know.
We're not gonna have a show next week.
I know. So I speak on the second day, which I think the conference starts on Monday. I know very little about what's happening, but I think it starts on Monday. I know that I am the second day, which will be, I think, second day afternoon. So I think it's like 7:30 a.m.
Schedule's up.
Let's
see.
I'm post lunch, second day.
Right after lunch.
Ooh, sleepy spot. I got a sleepy spot.
Second day after lunch.
Yeah,
they buried you.
I know.
Redacted.
Hopefully the Europeans eat lighter than the Americans. Because if I'm second day in a U.S. conference after lunch, everybody's asleep.
And hopefully they don't have a lot of too much beverages the night before. Although you do have a lot of you got heavy hitters in front of you, so I think you'll be okay.
Yeah,
Jess Archer opening day 2 with the Night Watch one, so people are gonna want to see.
I think we'll be okay.
Sure. I think we'll be okay. Some big brand name stuff coming, so I think you'll be all right.
So no show next week, but you can maybe. I still don't know if there's a live stream. You can maybe tune in to a live stream of the conference. I have no idea. I've asked. I haven't heard back. So
maybe I should do it. Maybe I should get a guest though, so we can talk about what's going on. Maybe I'll do a guest show. I don't want to skip a show. But then that's the first show with the ads. Whatever. I'll just do the ads. It's fine.
You can do the ads. You're good at this. We could also do a post Laracon show.
We could do that, a special edition on Wednesday or something, or
I could I could record Tuesday afternoon
if you're not busy at the conference.
Yeah, in Amsterdam time.
You might be busy though.
I might be. That might be kind of fun though.
I could do a solo. I could get a guest, or if you're available, we'll wait to see how your availability is.
Okay.
If you're available and you could squeeze out even like half an hour or something, we can jump in. You can give us the recap. If not,
then I can get the live reaction from you about the new library.
That's true. I hope they stream it. Did they say if they are going to have a stream or no?
No, I've asked, and he was like, we'll let you know, wink face. And I'm like, what does that mean?
Let me know. You'll at least have a link to some kind of thing on GitHub or some slides or something.
I will have a full YouTube video.
Okay.
Ready to be released the moment I walk on stage.
Okay. So I will be able to know, be in the loop on what's going on, even if there's
you'll be able to see that. Yeah.
Okay.
So We're getting there. We're getting really close.
Wow.
Really
you feel
close.
good? You feel you? Oh yeah, give us that update. So you were you were going backwards last week.
I was going
and the time
backwards.
before that. Now
Yep.
are we heading in the right direction?
I think we're heading in the right direction now.
Okay.
Pieces are starting to come together. So I've
Mhm.
been, building these individual pieces of the loop, and now I'm starting to like connect them, and that just makes me feel like progress is happening a lot faster because I can like
Yeah.
run the whole thing.
Mm.
And so that's been very, very good. So we're getting close to a demoable state, which is basically all I need to get.
Yeah.
And so I'll try to record a demo today and send it to a few people to get like early, feedback, responses, that sort of thing. And then from there I will probably finish out a few things, but I also need to like plan my talk, It's not
Right.
it's not going to be terrible, like it's not like I'm writing a talk where I just have to walk around the stage and opine on things.
Right.
Like I have a lot of stuff to show, and that will guide the structure. But I still need to put it down and figure out like where do I want to go from here, what order I want to do, like that kind of stuff. So I'm not super worried about the talk part. Just as long as I can land the demo, that's the structure of the talk. So and then we got a few things we want to do. We're gonna put up a landing page for this thing. It's a free thing, but I still want to like launch it super well, and so we're putting up a landing page, trying to do a video, just capitalize on the momentum of the reveal. So yeah, I think we're gonna make it. It's been
It also
a lot
looks
of
like just because it looks like they had to change a heart, and it's 30-minute blocks. So I know at one point
all over the place. Yeah,
it's going to be 25 minutes or something.
Yeah,
which I think would have been
really tough. So yeah, it's been a lot of late nights, a lot of consternation, but I think it's gonna pay off.
I'm excited to see it. Very exciting. Stuff's launching, stuff's happening.
We love it when stuff launches.
Speaking of that, Rails course.
We're doing a Rails course. We've done a Rails course.
It's done. It's in the can.
It's done. So yeah, we finally got that trailer all edited up, got the website up and running, and so the videos are currently being edited right now. And so this is the first time we've announced a course with it totally done. I mean, in terms of recording, and that feels a lot better.
That's
way
nice.
less pressure. So we have hired an editor to do this one. Ooh. So we're trying to leverage our time and leverage our skills. And so we're not going to have Steve spend 2 or 3 weeks editing this when he could be doing other stuff. Okay. And so we're paying an editor to do this one. Steve is still exercising oversight. And the editor is not cheap, but it is good because now Steve can do other stuff.
It's the whole deal. Yeah.
Yep. So that's good. And then we will launch that probably like 2nd or 3rd week of February, with plenty of time to spare. And so I don't know, it's exciting. It's very exciting to have like a guest course out there. My hunch is, just from like a monetary perspective, it won't do as good as the other two, but this is the experiment. Yeah. I don't think it needs to do as well as the other two, but it needs to be profitable, and I think it'll be profitable. Yeah, I think it will be. The level is an open question, but regardless, I think the course is very good, and I think it will be profitable. I just don't know to what extent or to what degree. And so, yeah, I'm super happy with it. I'm super happy that we like had an idea for an experiment. We did all the work to like pull off the experiment, and now we get to see, was it worth it or not?
This is sort of the first, real experimenty kind of course thing here that's got more risk associated with it. And I don't think there's a sponsor, right? There wasn't a corporate sponsor to this one, or was there?
There are 2.
Oh, well, there you go.
Chris Oliver, big big guy in the Rails community. He's the Jeffrey Way kind of the Rails community.
Oh, okay.
He has a Forge-esque service, which
Mm.
observe Laravel, take it to Rails, make a bunch of money.
There you go.
He has a Forge-esque service called Hatchbox, and he's in on it. And then the predominant error tracker over in the Rails community is called Honey Badger, and they're in on it. We all know Honey Badger.
Yeah.
So Hatchbox and Honey Badger have very generously stepped up to sponsor this, and I think it's
awesome.
I think it's gonna work out great for them because it is compared to the some of the other courses, the sponsorship amount is still healthy, but not out of reach for either of these companies. And I think they'll get a lot of good return out of it. Hopefully, a lot of people that are coming to hey, I want to learn some Rails because I'm sick of the churn and burn in the other ecosystems. I want to learn some Rails, and you get immediately exposed to net new people. So that's the hope. But yeah, we've got two very relevant sponsors for this one.
That's pretty cool too, because I feel like since you guys, your reach is probably not quite as deep in Rails, it's like they can help kick off that initial Rails side, right?
Yeah.
And then then those people they reach, but they already know them, of course. But then they can go that next step. Well, those people tell their audience, right?
Yep.
And then you still reach those people that don't know Honey Badger.
Yes, totally.
Hatchbox. So
yeah, that's the
really
hope.
good.
And Steven, the guy who did the course, his name's Steven. Steven's going to go on some Rails podcasts in the next few weeks, and so he's
awesome.
out there doing some of that too. And so there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. Whether or not this becomes a big pillar of our business, guest courses, that's an open question, but this is exciting.
So which course is best, if you don't mind me asking? You can say no if you do mind me asking, but I'm wondering which one.
Asking. Which one made the most money?
Yeah.
Postgres.
Postgres?
Yep.
That's interesting. Okay. I think it makes sense.
Yep, I think it makes sense. Yeah, I think we need to do. January's been slow, so the whole roller coaster of owning a business is very real. January is slow. It's oh, great.
Oh, we're going out of business.
Over.
We're going out of business.
All right, it's over.
It's
right
over.
at the time that programmers aren't needed. The business is dead.
People.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
So that's been fun. But yes, I think we need to do another flagship database course this year, which we will, and it's going to be MySQL, probably closer to the end of the year. The Intro to SQL course, I think we're going to try something a little bit new and make it a little bit more interactive. So for Intro to SQL, we might have the video up top and then a pane down below where you can run queries against what will probably end up being a SQLite database on Cloudflare or something. So everybody gets their own. And so it's a little bit more interactive. You can play with it.
Do it in the browser?
I think there is a SQLite WASM or something like that.
Superhuman does and Linear does. They're a local SQLite database.
I think those are limited on size, but it might be enough. But there are
for
some.
What you're doing, might not matter.
There are some. Well, that may not be true. I was thinking there are some lessons that require a lot of data, but that may not be true for the Intro to SQL course, because we're not going to be going super deep into if you have a billion rows, how do you index it well? It's I don't know what a database is.
You have another course for that.
Yeah.
Right.
So you may be right. We may be able to pull it off solely in the browser.
You don't have this ongoing cost or whatever.
Yeah.
And just
infrastructure.
Headache, there's going to be problems and support.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'll check to see what the state of SQLite in the browser is, and if we can ship. Surely we can. We can ship a SQLite file that has schema and data in it that they can play with. You know what I mean?
But I mean, I know Superhuman, all your email, everything. It's in the SQLite database in the local browser or something.
In local storage, really?
Yeah.
That's wild.
I don't know if it's literally all there or there's some syncing thing or whatever, but there's a heavy use of the in-browser SQLite. And I'm pretty sure Linear is the same way.
I know that I've known that is possible, but I have never once looked into how to do it and what the limitations are.
But this course, it seems
maybe I should.
It's going to be simple queries, it's not going to be anything too crazy. So
yeah. That's a good idea. But either way, I think this will make that course more compelling. And that's something I've we're trying to always, you know, outdo ourselves. And I think this is one way that we can like level up is have like an interactive playground kind of thing. Kent C.
Yeah.
Dodds does that on all of his courses, and people seem to really like it.
Yeah.
But we haven't yet done any of that. And this goes back to last week's existential dread. Seems to be a theme here. This goes back to that in that I think pure education plays are going to become tougher. I don't think it's over, but I think it is tougher. And the more that we can say like, yes, here's some education, but also here's some practice, like the way that we can hopefully sidestep the oncoming truck a little bit is by changing the platform, leveling up, adapting a little bit. And this is a step in that direction.
Yeah. It's just like I'm connecting two totally wild and separate thoughts, but like this AI conversation, how it's going to take over everything, all that stuff. But at the same time, what you're saying right now makes me think of my first job on the internet where I learned to program, was for this startup that ended up being bought by Prentice Hall, which is a textbook maker, which I didn't get any money. I had no options or anything like that. But I ended up working in this big thing. And anyway, what we were building was like online course companion software, and then also this active books, we called them, which was like textbooks with interactive elements. It's like just this, it's like the same thing you're talking about.
Same
It's
thing.
like, here's a course with interactive
Nothing ever
elements,
happens.
right?
It's the same
it's
thing.
like, so
yes.
we're just still doing the same thing. And that was
Same
20 something years ago.
Yep.
So there is that vibe where like, yes, like you're doing that. Yeah, you couldn't run a database in your browser and run queries against it in 2001 or whatever, right? But like, so that's the evolution, but at the same time, there's still these themes and things that recur and still need to happen. So anyway, it's not all.
You know what we could also do that we're definitely going to do now that I've had the idea. So okay. Steve, listen up. I just had a great idea. We got to build in some sort of AI assistant to this playground area, because we can give the AI assistant the schema, a sample of the data, what the correct query should be, and what the user typed in, and say, all right, here's the prompt. Help the user show them where they went wrong, help them get to the right answer. And so they can watch the video, they can practice, they can get help from the little thing. By the end of it, they'll know SQL. And I'll be a millionaire.
That's really good. Yeah,
that's good, right?
You have this AI assistant that's like knows what they're doing right now, so you can have the prompt all set up. So it knows where they're going. I can even give it the transcript
of the video and be like, here's the video they're watching. Here's the schema. Here's the data. Here's what they typed in. Here's what they should have typed in. Where did they go wrong?
Yeah, I like that.
That's good.
That's good. That you start to get into like,
that's
is
pretty
there even
good.
An ongoing fee of some sort or whatever. You know, I don't know if it'll be enough to justify it, but you're starting to get in that ballpark, right? Of like something. You're also getting in the ballpark of, are you building courses or are you just building content on top of your course management software, which is really the thing you sell ultimately, which is like, because obviously the same concept would be useful in any course, right? Like, here's a course and here's an AI agent that's all cool and lets you set it up so it can help the people with whatever it is you're learning, dentistry, or it could be anything, right? Like, that's a big nut to crack, but there is something sort of interesting there, especially maybe if it was targeted at your
I'm not gonna lie, level, this is pretty good.
There we're going. Everything comes back to a SaaS. You got to turn everything into a SaaS.
Everything has to be a SaaS. That's right. You'll never be happy until you have running a SaaS. That's right.
Yes, exactly.
Ooh, this is pretty good.
Well, you know, it could be two things going. You know, it's like as you make the platform better, you know,
right?
Think about it more and see.
There's definitely a world in which we end up spinning off the platform as some sort of offering, because I think we've done a lot of interesting things there in terms of video hosting, and the design is quite good and the back end. So that's possible. That is definitely not on my mind right now. I'm not like coding towards
Steve's
that.
Like, why are you putting this idea in his head? We got stuff to do.
Steve already paused the podcast and threw down his wired headphones in frustration. But yeah, I think. Tell me.
We need JavaScript Aaron Francis has been a fun side adventure. But we need YouTube Aaron Francis. I feel like YouTube Aaron Francis He's gotten a little forgotten.
It's gotten a little long in the tooth. I know. It's out.
Yeah.
It's
I think you said you're gonna do 100 videos on YouTube. So you gotta. Was that? When did you in your New Year's thing say that was your estimate? What you were aiming for?
That's a lot.
That's a lot. It's a lot of videos.
Yeah, I know. So here's a peek into my mental state. I get in this like I'm working on this library, right? And I have unfortunately settled on the strategy of the big reveal. Got to do the big reveal.
You like a big reveal?
I love a big reveal. Love to create a spectacle. The problem is I can share very little of what I'm doing along the way. And that has put me down into like hunker down mode. Not great.
Yep.
The other problem, the other reality about the way that I typically have worked is like hyper maniacal focus on one thing for a while and then just like, I'll put that down for me. And right now it's the library, and it should be, my life should be arranged such that I can do one thing like in the morning, maybe make some videos in the morning, work on some library in the afternoon. This is just not.
I find that very hard. I'm not good at that either. Like when you're in code brain, what me and my wife call code mode. If you're in code mode, it's hard to be in other modes. It's hard to be in other modes. I got all this code in my head, and I can't go write a blog post or make a video because the code
and it's not great.
There, and I only have so much, random access memory available. And
it's not great because remember, January's been slow. You know, it would help with that. Database videos on YouTube. That would help.
That would help.
That would help a lot. What the hell am I doing?
A step in the correct direction, you would presume.
So once again, the battle is within. But we're getting there. We'll get there.
This is not totally within. It's like, I mean, it would be different if you didn't have a date that you really had to hit, right? Like,
that is true.
If you were just building a library and it's like, hey, I can push this library off another month because I should do some videos now because we need to keep on marketing, and I'll come back to the JavaScript thing, which will still be hard because of code mode, but whatever. Like, you could do it. But you really can't do it right now because you have to hit the deadline. Date, and you're going backwards in your completion percentage. So there's
here's a great place to say hoisted by my own petard. There we go. That's where I've been hoisted. I've got a deadline
by your own petard,
and I need to just finish it. And so I once again am hoisted.
But that deadline is it's almost here. It's a couple days away.
Here. It is rapidly approaching.
Yeah, so that'll be nice.
I do see the light at the end of the tunnel. I know Europeans love trains, so to borrow a little train metaphor, I see the light at the end of the tunnel. So we're getting
there.
Yep.
Okay. I want YouTube Aaron Francis back, man. I need
He'll
some
be
YouTube
back.
Videos.
He's not dead.
All right, good. Because I want 100,000 subscriber Aaron Francis. That's really what I want.
That's what I want. I want plaque Aaron Francis.
Yes, I want a plaque Aaron Francis. How cool would that be? You could set it up like they always have it set up in the background there. You can have it right there.
I know.
Beautiful.
It would be. It's going to happen. This is our year.
All right. I like it. All right. What else we got? Anything else?
No sleep Ian. You're out, man. You did it.
I did it. We did it. Episode
couldn't even tell.
Yeah, I think I told you I took that shower, man. I was laying in bed with the heated thing. You're so like, it's awesome. Heated and like it's nice in here, and I'm tired, and I'm frumpy from being tired.
Yep.
I'm frumpy because I didn't sleep.
Yep.
Took the shower, cleansed,
ready
to go, ready to hit it hard today. So I think we're good.
A true professional.
Yeah, exactly.
Michael Jordan with the flu.
The show must go on.
That's right.
All right. Well, let's wrap it. Thanks, everybody. Everything you need is on mostlytechnical.com. All the links to social media, all the links to sponsorship, all the old episodes, mostlytechnical.com. And we will see you somehow or some way next week. Might be a day or two late. We'll see if we can get Aaron hooked in. Otherwise, I'll grab somebody. We'll do a special episode. One way or the other. At some point next week, we will be back. See you later.
See ya.